In this 1 hour, I'm trying to work on a problem. So the problem is, let me also write it. Problem is to be able to copy a subdirectory of a GitHub repo without cloning or checking out any of its branches. So the problem, uh, I came to this problem during the development of my framework. So uh, whenever my web framework updates, I am facing a problem that the sample app which is there in the web framework, I have to update it so that whenever someone bootstraps a new application using the Maya framework, uh, they will only get the latest sample of the app. But the problem is, in some of the cases, user might want to retain on the previous versions of the Maya framework, and they want to be able to create a sample app of the previous version. So I'm unable to maintain a uh, different versions of the sample app. So I came up this problem, and I thought, why not create a repository based with a mapping of every sample app based on every different versions of Maya throughout the Maya's framework history. So that will be in a subdirectory of the same sample app repo, and I think that is possible only, and that will be helpful if I create a tool which simply copies the subdirectory, and that subdirectory will be something like version v 0.0.13 or something. So this is coming from that place. So let me start with the directory. I am naming the uh, the solution as ghcopy, GitHub copy, and the solution I forgot to mention what is the solution for it. It should be a CLI tool which takes URL of GitHub repo as argument. If the URL is valid, uh, root or subdirectory of the repo, it should simply uh, download all files and folders. Files and folders, and it simply download all files and folder from that subdirectory URL, and copies and pastes uh, it in current directory. Something like, uh, if I do ghcopy some URL slash repo name slash some subdirectory, it should copy entire content of that subdirectory uh, to current uh, to the current current location in the file system. So let me proceed with that using I am using ChatGPT for this currently, and I will be uh, working on the code using VS Code. First, let me initialize npm with a package.json. Let the main file is index.js. Okay, so for the time being, I'm not working on a TS solution uh, for this problem. I'll be completely coding it in JavaScript and Node.js, obviously. So let me start with it. Give me a code for basic CLI tool using Node.js. Which takes an argument of a GitHub root directory or subdirectory as URL. Let me first create a tool. First, let me create a CLI tool. Okay, I have created CLI tools previously, especially for this Maya framework. I'm slightly aware, but I don't want to take much risk. That's why I'm simply reviewing it slightly and proceeding with the code. The way it works is you have to provide some environment variable, which is node. It will simply take node and as a run this in the terminal. This file in the terminal using node. Make it executable. Uh, okay. So I will before doing anything, I will simply check it. Okay, it is working. Okay, let me gh test. I'm not naming it ghcopy for now, just to test in my local CLI. If it get installed with ghcopy and later on I have to like go to the bin folder and delete it and then install the ghcopy as a CLI tool from npm. So to avoid any uh, problem within, if I'm just checking with if within 1 hour I'm able to also publish it to the npm and test it, it will create a problem at that time only in my computer because I have created and tested it. So for the time being I'm just moving with gs test. Let me npm link. Okay. Oh, okay, let me test it. Gs test. Yeah, it is working. Give me update this code so that uh, it only accepts the git github repo url as a valid argument or otherwise throws error or any other argument. Also, it should guide the user when no argument is passed to the tool command. No argument provided, invalid argument. Okay. Since most of the code is useless in this one, let me delete everything and copy again. Let me do sudo npm link again. If I'm not doing anything, no argument provided uses my CLI. Okay. Oh, ghcopy. Okay, it is showing ghcopy now. Mm, Let me go to yeah, this is a valid argument. It is a valid argument. Okay. Let me test. Okay. Update the code. I'm getting an error for subdirectory subdirectory. If I pass a subdirectory URL as to the to it works fine if I just provide URL GitHub repos. I want it to allow both repo URL and repo subdirectory URL. No argument provided, which is fine. Okay, not much change in the code, so okay, works. It also works. Full URL GitHub tree main dev. Okay, now now okay. So since the URL is working more or less, I have not tested it completely, but I'm just going with the happy path. Since the URL part is working fine, I'm going ahead with the copy. Add a feature in this code so that it downloads all the files and folders of the valid GitHub repo, root, or subdirectory and pastes it in current folder using in the terminal. Okay, change the code. The reason I am not using any other coding tool like cursor, IDE or any other thing, because there might be certain learning curve which might impact for this 1 hour of coding test. So since I am already familiar with Chat GPT and VS Code, I am doing this with that. I'm not sure why it changes this code already, which was already working to some degree, but I'm I'm just copying this one. Fetch JSON. Okay, recursively download contents. Mm, okay, start download. Recursively download contents. How does it do? It simply fetches JSON for API path. API path is nothing but repo path and then ref branch. Branch should be branch should be this. Oh, repo input branch and subpath. Oh, that is why it changed the above code. For now, I am simply trusting the code and just updating it. Let me just do this. Okay, clear. Change test. Fine, fine. This is subdirectory. This is root. Okay. Oh, oh, it is doing that on desktop. Now, why is it so slow? Maybe it is making these number of API calls for the subdirectory. It is very slow. Meanwhile, let me ask it. This code does download the file contents, but it does it one by one, making the fetch call, which is painfully slow for if the repo has thousands thousands of files. What but the git clone is pretty fast. Why? Okay. Extension web app and packages. Dev ghcopy. Oh, no. Dev kernel license and readme. Go to C. Let me do that for Dev. It is doing it. Yeah, it does. Can I? So it says the git clone is fast because it is downloading a zipped file of the repo, and I mean that means the compressed file of the repo just in one fetch call. So uh, not one fetch call, but like one fetch call for the zip file of the entire repository. So fastest possible solution is download the zip, extract it in memory, copy only the subdirectory. Okay, accept GitHub repo subdirectory URLs. Download it exactly once, extract only needed folder, put files in your current directory only using. Yes, yes, please do that, but also make sure that the initialized .git folder does not get copied if I'm if I want to download the entire root directory of the repo. Okay, it needs us ADM zip. Okay. Uh, mm, can you, this ADM zip file is, since I'm creating this as a CLI tool, I don't want to, I don't want users to install ADM zip. Oh, but yeah. Oh, I think I don't need user to install it manually. It will do it under the hood. So first npm I install ADM zip. Let me check package.json. Oh, so in the long approach, the rate limit also gets exceeded, I guess. So if your repository has thousands of files, it might break in between. Okay, so yeah, I think this approach which we are going through using git clone and cloning the entire zip folder of the entire repo, I think we won't reach the rate limit for that. Okay, medium zip. Okay, fine. So let me just remove the copied code. Let me review it once more. Okay, so the main process is it gets the zip buffer, it downloads zip rip. Okay, it is getting the stream of the response, and what it does is extract to current directory based on the sub path provided. Okay, so let me copy the entire code. Meanwhile, I would do, I would not do the entire copy paste of the source code. I would rather use some AI based IDE to update the code and review in chunks, not the entire source code. But for this task, this coding test, I am doing the entire copy and paste, taking into consideration that it should work. I'll just debug it later if there is any error. Let me just do gh. Okay, I guess it is forbidden. it says your code does not follow right redirects as of now, so I'm just asking it to update the code so that it allows the redirects. I'm not sure what does it mean redirects. Not github.com. Fine. Oh, okay. It allows, but the user won't type code load.github.com. They will simply provide the URL of github.com and some subdirectory. Okay, so I'm asking ChatGPT to so that it takes the same GitHub URL for root or subdirectory and converts the URL so that it supports instead of for downloading the zip file of the repo. Okay, zip URL should be this copy owner repo and branch. Let me check if it works or not. Oh, wow. Oh, yes. Uh, okay, I think I still have 15 to 20 minutes left and it does that. Hmm. So let me just do one thing. Let me verify what it all has. Tree main dev. In the dev directory I have kvdb controllers models view in all these files. Models view but not the files. Okay. One more thing. It the whole source code is working, but it only downloads the directories in the given subdirectory or GitHub repo or GitHub repo. It doesn't download the files inside that subdirectory. Update the code to allow downloading the files as well. The correct what does it say? Got it. This happens because your current extraction logic filters entries by with prefix. Entry name dot starts with C. V. Okay, if sub path starts with a prefix. Okay, okay, but then removes the prefix plus in a way that accidentally strips too much for the files relative becomes this and gets skipped. Okay, also okay, I am giving you a fixed tested extraction block that download file and preserves code, strips the git correctly. It handles nested subdirectory. Let me also see it in Finder if .git is there or not. Let me check first. Extract to correct. I am just trying to avoid the complete copy and paste of the code just in case if this working thing is again since I have not initialized git in this one. um, if this is working, let me first initialize git as well. These folders were not part of the solution, so let me I have initialized it. Let me just save it first. Git and git commit should initial first commit for saving work. Okay, now I can simply copy and paste this one. This is only for extract to current directory. Okay, let me see what all changed. Everything is okay. I guess this is the change absolute subpath. This is the actual fix. I guess I have not checked the other ones. I'm hoping this should work. Let me do this again. Wow, it's fast. Uh, no. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Yes, only there was no files. I was solving for a incorrect error. But let me test with the root folder. Uh, it should be downloading everything for the root folder. These three files, these four files were not available. Delete. Uh, Let me make a test folder. This is not for testing, this is just going into cd test and then doing my stuff there to test whether everything is working fine or not. Let me do this main tasker. Okay, yes, it works. Dev git ignore. I have to check dev git ignore kernel license. Yes, this works. Let me just remove everything from here and save it. Git add. I'm not sure whether it actually solved the if there was actually an error where it is not downloading the files, but since this is a fix, I am just uh, committing it as a fix the bug where it was not down. It is only it's not a production level commit, it is only for this test. In production I should be double sure about whether if there was an error or not. I will be testing the previous code whether it was already working fine or not, and do nothing if no fix was needed. Okay, right now let me since it is a working prototype, let me just review the code and make a I guess I have 6 minutes left. Let me may modularize the code source I'm not testing it after the refactor. I'm just uh, I'm not testing it after the refactor. I'm just uh, trying to modularize the code if anything needed or not, because this is a self-contained solution, I guess. Uh, it's a very small solution, but still, I would let me make another URL validations.ts. Oh, download zip. Fine. Extract to current directory. Get code. Extract to current directory. Okay, so there are two functions. Okay. Okay, one thing is, let me delete this. What I'm trying to do is refactor the code, but I have to first understand the code, what it all is doing. That might take time since I have very less time left. I In the solution I will also be sharing the repository repository link of this code, which I will pushing in my GitHub account. So the the file structure or the code structure part will be more clear there. I mean, if it is allowed for this test, I'm not sure, but yes, because of the time constraint, I will be sharing the URL later. So for now, I am just wrapping this test uh, with checking whether it was done or not. So the problem statement was to be able to copy a root or subdirectory, copy a root or subdirectory of a GitHub repo without cloning or checking out any of its branches. I also need to check whether it is successfully deleting the .git folder or not while copying it, because .git means there is a git uh, initialized already for that copied root root folder. Okay, so the problem statement is to be able to copy root or subdirectory of a GitHub repo without cloning or checking out any of its branches. Fine. Solution: it should be a CLI tool which takes URL of GitHub repo as an argument. So in this test case, the CLI tool is ghtest, and then it accepts arguments as if the repo as an argument, which takes URL of GitHub repo or its repo or repo's root or subdirectory path as argument. Okay, it should be a CLI tool which takes URL of GitHub's repo's root or subdirectory path as argument. Yes, it is taking both the cases, subdirectory and directory. If the URL is valid root or subdirectory of the repo, it should simply download all the files and folder, paste it in current area. Yes, it is doing so. But for other constraints of the test, I will be sharing the uh, link and the video recording as well. So I am wrapping it up now.